Hi everyone, we'll wait for a couple more minutes, so let more people join the session. Yeah, I think we can start now. So good evening everyone. I am Chetan from marketing team. So thank you all for joining our Tech Thursday webinar from Noventiq. The topic of today's session is on Microsoft Azure Arc, and we have two speakers, Mr. Kapil Bajaj, Senior Solution Specialist, and Mr. Shivang Desai, also Solution Specialist from Noventiq. So we have a Q&A session at the end of the session, and you may ask your questions in the comment box anytime during the webinar. Moving forward to Kapil, please take it forward.
Yeah. Hi, thanks, Chetan. Thanks. Am I audible, Chetan?
Yes, Kapil, yes.
Perfect, perfect. Good evening, everyone. I know it's hot and humid in Mumbai. It's a bit difficult for you guys to join, but I really appreciate for taking out time and joining this in hot and humid weather. So we would try to be more interactive and try to give you more knowledge about this, power packed Azure Arc service, right? So I would quickly start with it. So for those who are working on to Microsoft Azure already, they are running certain services of cloud onto Microsoft Azure. So they might be aware about how critical the security piece is, how critical the operational excellence pieces, and how critical at the same lines the governance pieces for all of the organizations who are catering their services onto cloud or any other service, or you can say from compliance per se, how important it is, right? For those who are not already on to Microsoft Azure. So just to give you a glimpse about it, Microsoft Azure platform is a platform where you can host your cloud services, all of your applications, databases, security, uh, everything, and about the cloud services. It's what we have, right? So, for all the Azure services, or let it be IaaS services or platform as a services, the three main key pointers we have is security, operations, and governance, right? So it's not only at the cloud platform. You guys used to have these services for your on premises, any for any other cloud providers, or at the third party hosted services. So on the same lines, here is Azure Arc, which is going to extend its arm around your hosted platforms to enhance your security operations and governance portfolio, right? So moving on, I'll just quickly introduce this Azure Arc as a service. Now, this is a very power packed service provided by Microsoft. Now, this acts as a bridge between your on premises, your third party, or any other cloud platform to Microsoft Azure. When I say a bridge between these, environments, the main motto of Microsoft is to strengthen any organization's security, compliance, governance, and the management or the operational capabilities. Because what we have seen is, in today's world, let it be any sector, let it be BFSI, manufacturing, ITs, right? You guys are already hosting lots of servers, lots of databases across multiple environments. I've seen people, keeping their data on premises and running applications onto cloud. So it's kind of an hybrid portfolio for all of you. And at the end of the day, it becomes quite difficult to manage all of the environments, especially the security and governance piece of it, right? So that's the reason Microsoft has introduced this Azure Arc service, which will definitely empower you, your organizations, your CXOs of the world in ensuring smooth operations, ensuring enhanced security and governance capability provided by this particular Azure Arc service. Okay. So this is what Azure Arc is all about. And just to tell you, Microsoft is not incurring any charges for Azure Arc enablement services. Later on, there could be some possibilities, but as of now, just enabling the Azure Arc is not going to cost you a penny. However, leveraging features of Azure or services of Azure will cost you for that, but only enabling and leveraging Azure Arc as a service is free of cost for you. Okay. Now you have seen that, right? World is innovating. So does Microsoft along with Noventiq. We have seen the world is moving or driving towards AI, right? It's very critical for every organization to be part of that innovation, to be part of their, solving complex business problems, or maybe enhancing their operational work, enhancing their security and governance. Because at the end of the day, the innovative business is what everyone would expect, right? So simply, this particular Azure Arc will help you in innovating your IT services or your security governance services. The reason being is, as I said, this is a bridge between your on-premise or third-party or any other cloud services to Azure. That means what you can do is you can, simply installation of an agent onto your on-premises or third-party cloud services. Now, this agent, will get installed over there, and at the Azure part of it, you will be able to govern or manage your workloads, right? So, in simple terms, I'm just putting an agent onto my on-premises servers, and I'm getting a view or the GUI interface of those servers onto Azure platform. Now it's super cool, super easy, just an installation of the agent, and that's it what you need. The moment you do that, you would be able to see your servers getting reflected onto Azure. That doesn't mean those servers are getting migrated to Azure. It's just you would be able to leverage Azure services such as monitoring, operational activities, security, and governance for all of your services. Why do you guys need to do that, right? Reason being is that it's going to give you a single pane of glass for all of your workloads hosted around hybrid environments, right? Oh, so for those who are already using Azure, they know they would be monitoring, they would be, following those security best practices for all of their Azure workloads. How about bringing all of your hybrid environments in a single pane of a glass so that you can monitor at ease, so that you can govern at it at ease, right? It's all about making or reducing your operational workload, your operational work life for all the IT administrators, for the database administrators, and for the monitoring team, right? So that's how the Azure Arc is going to help you in driving innovation to your business and ensuring you are up to date with your security, governance, and compliance best practices, right? Now, if I talk about Azure Arc for servers, right? Um, Let me just tell you, Azure Arc is not only for the on-premise server. Or when I say on-premise, it's not only for the servers or the virtual machines. It's also about Kubernetes. It's also about databases, right? It's also about the likes of VMwares and everything, right? So this particular Azure Arc service, what it's going to do, as I previously mentioned, it supports both of your operating systems, the Linux and the Windows of the world. It also supports your VMs and bare metals, and it's as good as the initial discovery phase of it. Even if you have thousands of servers, it is going to cater those thousands of servers. You don't have to worry about it. You have your workloads running onto Hyper-V, VMware, on-premises physical, or any other cloud platform, GCP, AWS likes of the world, or any other containerized based solution of Kubernetes services clusters. No problem. Azure Arc is there to solve all of those problems for you. So it's all about enabling those services with Azure Arc, and leveraging Azure services for your benefits. And when I said about the governance, right? So we have been speaking about governance a lot, right? For those customers who are already using Azure, they are aware about the Azure policy features, right? So just about it, what it do is you can have your on-premise policies built up into Azure, or you can do it a custom built of policies, or just for an example, if you want your resources not to spin outside of India, Azure policies are going to take care, and that's how you manage the governance, right? Right. So it's all about enforcing those audit policies, those operating system setting which you want to do it, and it's all about managing all of your hybrid environment at a single pane of a glass, right? Now, when you talk about security, right? It's Microsoft. Beauty of Microsoft is you can have Azure Active Directory already onboarded, the so-called Intra ID nowadays, right? So you can have your on-premise or your domain users, rather domain users, access these workloads once they are onboarded to Azure, right? So once I have my domain users, all of my domain users onto Azure AD, no matter from where I'm bringing my workloads, I can leverage Azure Active Directory slash Entra ID for getting the secured access for all of those users across hybrid environments I have, right? I can enable role-based access control if XYZ person wants only view rights. read writes, we can give it. If XYZ person wants rights where he can, publish certain contents onto VMs, it's not a problem. We can give those rights. It's all about integrating your uh, domain within the Azure Active Directory and leveraging Azure Active Directory for providing secure access across all of your hybrid platforms, which you have onboarded via Azure Arc, right? Next, as I mentioned, earlier slide was speaking about the servers. And as I said, it's not just limited to servers. It's also about your VMware's vSphere's capabilities. What servers can do, what VMware's vSpheres can help you managing Azure cloud, right? Now, the biggest thing in VMware vSphere for the clients who are managing VMware, right? You might be going through the life cycle management of your virtual machines, all those operational headaches which you do for your virtual machines or on the VMM virtual machine manager. You can bring those capabilities over here, and you don't have to or no more have to log into the VMware portals and do operational work over there. Once you have onboarded your VMware vSphere VMs onto Azure using Azure Arc, you can definitely manage all of these aspects of it. It's not only about accessing, but also about managing the life cycle of the virtual machines, right? The likes of creating, resizing, deleting the VMs. Yes, the data will not be onto Azure. It's just be for the visibility purpose, but all the operational aspects you will be managing over here. When I say here, that means onto the Azure portal itself. And all of your, again, likes of security services such as Azure AD, it is going to integrate with this solutions, with this virtual machines, and you can grant access based on your organization policies. Who can access what can be leveraged over here using Azure Active Directory slash Entra ID, right? Again, one more beautiful feature, single pane of glass. Bring thousands of VMware VMs on board via Azure Arc and manage it on a single pane of a glass. It's just about bringing or extending these VMware VMs or getting onboarded via Azure Arc, and rest is going to be an easier job for you. What's what you do right nowadays, right? Now, again, the likes of that's it's not only about onboarding the VMware vSpheres or any VMs using Azure Arc. As I said, Azure Arc is a bridge between your on-premises or third-party cloud services to Azure, right? That means whatever the operational services Azure provides, such as Azure Monitor, Azure Defender, right? Azure Application Insights, Azure Update Managements for patch managements and everything. So those operational services, those security services, you can leverage with any of your VMware, your VMs, your databases, and so on. Okay. Next, as I said, it's not only limited to servers and VMwares, but it's more onto Kubernetes as well. We have seen the organizations who are running, kind of an monolithic applications, or they have already modernized their applications onto on-premises Kubernetes clusters, right? So Azure Arc is for you guys, right? What you can do is you can bring your or onboard your Kubernetes clusters to Azure Arc and gain benefits in terms of monitoring, in terms of getting Azure governance policies. Also, the very important feature is bringing your DevOps capabilities. For those who are running Azure Kubernetes service onto Azure, that's an Azure hosted platform, plus on-premise Kubernetes clusters. What you can do is you can do the CI/CD, that is DevOps management for all of your environments onto Azure itself. That means no more headache of managing these resources outside the Azure platform. Azure is giving in a plate for you, everything in a single pane for you, so that monitoring and management capabilities brings easy for you, right? And again, it's also for the SQL Server. We know that lots of organizations are still running on-premises servers. Could be 2008 as well. It could be 2012 as well, and so on. Doesn't matter. It's 16, 20, or whatsoever it is, right? Now, Azure has capabilities of SQL servers getting hosted as a platform as a service as well, right? But being on premises, it could be at your Hyper-V, VMware, or any physical environment. What you can do is you can have that SQL server onboarded via Azure Arc. And again, the likes of governance, security, and monitoring capabilities, you can control over it. More of it, what happens is there are certain add-on benefits which Azure can give for SQL. The likes of, this is for the database administrators who have joined this call. Um, for any database administrators, right? The query optimization becomes a very, a day-to-day life of jobs, right? Today there are lots of tables, lots of queries are running under it, right? How do you optimize your queries, or how do you enhance your operational work with the queries? Don't worry, Azure Arc is there for you. Azure Arc is going to give you the recommendations of operational workloads or overloads of a DBA, that is database administrator. Whatever day-to-day jobs they are doing, Azure Arc is going to make their life easier for them, because those are the recommendations in terms of optimizing your queries, in terms of doing certain transformation on the table itself, and minimizing the response time from the databases. All those kind of recommendations you're going to get from the Azure Arc. Definitely, as soon as you onboard, it's not only limited to governance, monitoring capabilities, or security capabilities, but it's also going to bring it more operational work in terms of the database administrative task. Okay, so this is a very beautiful feature which we have liked about, and lots of our customers are already leveraging it, right? And last but not the least, security. Uh, Single sign-on using Azure Active Directory. That's the beautiful feature which Azure Arc is bringing on table for the SQL servers, right? So that's what we have. um, just a glance of it, quick glance. Azure Arc for servers, for Kubernetes, for VMware vSpheres, for database is there for you. Okay, so everything is there. It's just you want to have a quick start, quick guidance around it, so that you can leverage or solve your business challenges, right? Now, this particular slides is for those customers who are still leveraging 2012 Windows servers or SQL servers, and without any support from Microsoft. So you already know that in 2023, October 10, Microsoft discarded the support of 2012 servers, right? Now, this becomes a kind of a challenge for the business users, because if there is no security updates being provided, there is no governance, how are we going to cater the audit requirements, right? How are we going to stay within the compliance if we are not going to have patch management or security updates for our servers, right? So what is it you can do? I will tell you in the next slide. So for those customers who are running 2012 workloads, you have three options right now. Okay. The very first thing is migrate to Azure. If you're running 2012 workloads, if you migrate to Azure, then definitely you are going to get additional 3 years of security update support from Microsoft without getting any cost. Without any getting any cost, I repeat. Okay. Now, and what you can do is, meanwhile, if you're okay, if your application says that yes, this application will only work on 2012 workloads, no doubt, you just lift and shift as it migrate to Azure. If you can upgrade your servers from 2012 to 2016, well and good, or 2016 to later stage, well and good, you can do that during the migration itself. So that's the very first option for you. Right now, other option, that is upgrade. That means at the on-premise itself, or at the source platform itself, upgrade to Windows 2022. Now, this I'm sure, pretty much sure, involves lots of challenges. The reason being is there are likes of organization who have set this up data in last 10 years, 15 years, right? And lots of stakeholders have already left the organization, and they're not sure if any change within the system will impact the application or the database, right? So for those organizations where the upgrade is difficult, you're not able, or you're not getting in confirmation from your application in the database team whether the direct upgrade to Windows 2022 is possible or not, don't worry. What you can do is to stay within the compliance, to follow the guidelines of auditors, or to make sure you are secure enough, you are getting your extended security updates, please do leverage Azure Arc. Because if you, the third option, do leverage Azure Arc. If you're utilizing this Azure Arc feature, you're going to purchase an extended security updates from Microsoft. Okay. And you're going to protect your on-premises and multi-cloud workloads. You're going to have plan for the security patching. And what is you're going to do is you're going to get an pay-as-you-go billing model onto Azure. That means if you are trying to upgrade your existing on-premises, that's okay. If you upgrade, there is no problem. But if you don't upgrade from 2012, what option you have? You have to purchase an ESU license from Microsoft, either for 1 year plan or 3 year plan, and that would be an upfront cost to you, right? So if you want to avoid upfront cost, right? So we know how much licenses charge for any 4 core SQL server, something, right? So the upfront cost is going to create a problem for you. If you want to minimize that upfront cost, you connect to Azure Arc and you pay month on month cost. That means the cost which I'll be paying to Microsoft for 3 years, purchasing 3 years extended security updates, I just have to onboard those servers to Azure Arc, and going forward, I would be paying month on month basis. And what I can do is, in the meantime, I'm paying month on month basis to Azure. I will also plan to upgrade from 2012 to 2016 or somewhat, so that I stay within the compliance till the time I do the migration. I stay within the proper secure environment of Microsoft Azure or the on-premises servers, so that all the security updates are getting patched. This is what going to help you to stay within the compliance. So these are the three options which you can leverage in case you want to upgrade, or in case you want to leverage Azure Arc. We prefer, and our recommendation would be, for those organizations who are not sure whether the upgrade would go smoother or not, whether the upgrade is going to take 6 months, 10 months down the line time for them. So Azure Arc is the option for you. Till the time you migrate, please leverage Azure Arc. It will be beneficial for all of you. Okay. Um, Next, I would ask Srirang Desai to take this up. Srirang, you there?
Yeah, yeah. Hi, Kapil. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So, good evening, everyone. It's indeed a very hot and humid climate here in Mumbai. And yeah, so Kapil has already given you the basic overview of what Azure Arc is and what exactly it does, and how to how to manage its usage, and what are all the parameters which are needed to onboard Azure Arc. So in the next upcoming slides, I will be covering how you can use Azure Arc, what all things you need to know, and what are all the what are ESUs, what you need to purchase, how you can purchase it through via Azure Arc, and what are all the capabilities and services you can leverage once you onboard your environment onto an Azure Arc. So here, so basically, specifically before going into the purchase and extended security updates enabled by Azure Arc, let me explain you specifically. There are two types of customers. A customer a certain when a certain version of Windows OS or Linux or SQL comes to end of support, then there are specifically two types of customer. One customer who will upgrade it as soon as possible to avoid certain delay. He would upgrade it to the later version. Whereas there are there is a specific set of customer as well who will keep on working onto that legacy application. There may be a number of reasons for it. One, he's compatible with that. He doesn't want to upgrade. Second, he must be running critical workloads onto it, and he would require a certain amount of time before carrying out the upgradation from one version to another. So during this phase, the ESU cycle comes into picture. So specifically, ESU program is the last resort option for customers who need to run certain legacy Microsoft product past the end of support. For example, right now in the last year, Windows 2012 and 2012 R2, Microsoft had stopped end of giving them the security updates, etc. So with this, with the use of ESU, you can extend the support for further 3 years till 3 years till the cycle, which will provide you the time to my which will provide you a dedicated time once you move down. So uh, extended security updates are specifically distributed depending on their availability. So ESU basically do not include new features, customer requested and non-security updates or design changes request. They are just the updates which are provided depending on the legacy application which you are using and their benefit, so that to prevent vulnerabilities in your working on-premise environment, on-premise or other cloud environments. So with Azure Arc, specifically the features which we get once we onboard our servers onto the Arc, and one of the most basic feature which is provided is the ESU. So with extended security update, you enjoy the flexibility and scalability where you can run your distributed legacy operating system past the end of life and end of support timeline with flexible management options, whether it may be with respect to your Windows server or with respect to your SQL server, uh, wherein they will provide it will wherein what it will do is it will provide you an additional time to migrate the workloads and the application onto with a proper time frame and planning. And plus the second is stability and reliability, where you can ensure consistent Windows Server 2012 performance with high availability, and where you without affecting your environment, the performance can be in a stable way. And third one is enhanced security and compliance. So in this you can by leveraging Azure Arc for ESU, you can streamline the compliance efforts by ensuring that all your systems receive the necessary security updates, reducing the risk of vulnerabilities and potential compliance issues as well. Plus, even you can integrate the Azure services like the Azure Monitor, Azure Defender, which will improve your security capability by leveraging inbuilt Azure capabilities onto your hybrid environment as well. And basically, the most important thing is you will get with Azure Arc, you can centrally manage ESU across your hybrid environment, whether it may be VMware, etc., or in your multi-cloud environment as well, like AWS, GCP, by enabling consistent security policies and updates regardless of where your resources are deployed. So, going to the coming back to the next slide. Yeah. So, where and how can we get the ESU for Windows servers, and why are they necessary? So first of all, once you log into the Azure portal, portal.azure.com, and once you onboard your servers onto Azure Arc, you have to just go onto the Azure Arc Blade in the Azure portal and begin the onboarding of servers by clicking the Azure Arc server section here. And then once you click on the servers, you will start onboarding the servers into Azure Arc. There would be a certain script there would be a certain script and a machine agent that would be installed that would be installed onto your device by using the PowerShell or your tool of your choice, depending on the requirement. There are different you can based on your usage based on your compliance, you can select the deployment method like whatever you want. Like you can use the basic script, configuration manager, group policies, etc. Plus, once that is done, then once the servers are onboarded onto the Arc on the portal, on the Azure Arc portal, you would view the Windows Server inventory for servers, both enabled and non-enabled, with ESUs via the ESU status. So once this status is visible, then the fourth and the final step is you will activate the ESUs through the Azure Arc portal through the assignment of Azure policies, where you can enforce the policies of your choice, what you want and how you want. And plus, additionally, you depending on your requirement, you can leverage and integrate the other Azure services like Microsoft Defender for cloud and Azure Monitor for centralized management of your environment. Yeah. Next slide, please. So how to get the ESUs for SQL servers? Now, in the last slide, it was totally with regards to the Windows servers, 2012 and 2012 R2. The process the process is almost similar to that of the ESU enablement process, similar to that of the Windows server. Okay. So what you do here is you connect and register the customer options. You go to the portal, connect and register the customer option. You add the existing SQL Server instance. As you could see, you would get two options here, like connect SQL Server through Arc or register the disconnected servers through the Arc. So once you click on connect the servers to the Arc, and once your servers are connected onto the Azure Arc, you will view the SQL inventory for both connected and registered SQL instances like it is in the step 2. So then you can drill into the ESU options which are available like it is like shown in the step 3. And you would get the detailed view of what all ESU options are available. And then there you can subscribe to the extended security updates as per the requirement and choose the license type which you want, whether you want pay as you go or etc. So in the next slide, the pricing for ESU. So depending on the enhancement, as Kapil had covered in the last slides. So here, once you're when you purchase licenses through Microsoft directly for your on-premise servers, there would be a volume purchase of licensing. You will pay an upfront cost in terms of signing an agreement of 1 year or either 3 year. But whereas when you onboard your servers onto the Azure Arc and enable the ESU feature, then you can pay that cost in terms of monthly splitting as well. So what Azure Arc does is specifically it allows you to pay your bills on a monthly manner, and the billing would be available depending on your requirement, depending on the number of cores you are utilizing, not depending on the number of servers. So for example, you may have n number of machines. So the size of the server size would not be calculated. The core size would be calculated. Means, for example, you have 20 machines, and you have bought 30 cores for that 20 machines. So the pricing would be calculated based on the based on the size of the cores which are generated on the basis of that. So it is billed monthly and appears on customers Azure bill and in the cost management. Once you go to the portal and check down the cost, then search for the cost management and billing section, you will get the detailed view of what cost are you paying for your ESUs and how much you are charged on the monthly basis, depending on that. So customer pay the same price, but it's paid on the monthly increments, monthly standards, and on the monthly increment standpoints as well, compared to that of the upfront cost of the volume, upfront cost of the traditional ESU, which are paid on 1 year or 3 year installments. Yeah. Next slides. Yeah. So once you onboard your servers onto the Azure Arc, so the beauty of it is you can
Shriram,
leverage.
sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt you.
Yeah.
This is Rudraj this side. So
Yeah.
for the ESU enablement, do we require the software assurance as well?
Yeah, we would require the software assurance for ESU enablement, which is mandatory. If you don't have software assurance, you have to buy it via you have to buy the software assurance, and then we can enable the ESUs for that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So, uh, coming back to the slide, so Microsoft Defender for Cloud, the beauty of Azure Arc is even if your environment is on premises, you can use the Azure services. You can leverage the use of Azure services once you onboard your servers onto the Azure Arc without migrating them. So you can have an unified experience. So specifically what Microsoft Defender does is it continuously assesses, it understands your current security posture, identifies and track vulnerabilities, has a detailed view of your security posture, and it gives you your secure score of your overall environment and provides you the recommendations on which parameters the improvement is needed and on which parameters you want to move ahead and which parameters you have to fulfill to improve the security standpoints and compliance standpoints as well. Plus, it secures and hardens your connected resource and services by following a customized prioritized recommendation with these Azure security benchmarks, where where you would be provided with actionable recommendation to improve the security posture based on industry best practices and compliance standards, thereby which will help you to strengthen your environment as per the standpoints, as per the security guidelines standpoints. Plus, another beauty is it has just-in-time access, which will enable your administrators to restrict access to critical resources by allowing temporary access on demand, reducing the attack surface and improving the overall security. Plus, you have you can enable features like threat detection. You have features like threat detection and anomaly detection and automated remediation. So what with threat detection, you can leverage vast threat intelligence network to provide real-time insight into your emerging threats and vulnerabilities, enabling proactive threat mitigation. And in uh, automated remediation specifically offers actions to respond to security incident, and it will help you to enforce security policies, reducing manual intervention and improving response time. So overall, framing it in a brief way, Microsoft Defender for Cloud enhances your security visibility, strengthens defenses against evolving threats, and helps organization maintain a secure and compliant cloud environment. So you can enjoy all these features once you onboard the Azure Arc, your servers onto Azure Arc, and enable Microsoft Defender for Cloud. So going to next slide. So similarly, you can use VM and cluster extensions to easily deploy and seamlessly monitor your Kubernetes environment, VMware environment, etc. through Azure Monitor. So Azure Monitor will continuously keep on monitoring your environment, whether it may be on-premise or multi-cloud environment. And based on that, it has various standpoints and security parameters which are uh, present, where you could move ahead, based on your usage parameters. And plus, Azure, it will perform performance monitoring, where it will collect and analyze performance metric for your resources, whether it may be Azure resources such as or on-premise resources such as virtual machines, databases, applications, etc., and provide insights into resource utilization, latency, throughput, help, which will indeed help you to identify the performance bottleneck and optimize the usage. Plus, you will have a feature which is known as alerting and notification. So what this feature does is Azure Monitor allows you to set up the alerts based on the predefined conditions or custom queries. For example, when an alert is triggered, it will send you the notification via email, SMS, or integration with, or you can ask you, or if you have integrated with Microsoft Teams or Slack, you can get the notification on that platform as well with this alerting mechanism. Plus, you have something which is known as log analytics, where Azure Monitor at the backend integrates with log analytics, which collects and analyzes log data from various sources, including Azure resources, operating systems, and custom application. So where you will get a visualization of your log data, and which will help you to facilitate troubleshooting and root cause troubleshooting by getting the root cause analysis as well. So, and the last feature which is provided by the which is Azure Monitor, is the diagnostics, where it will help you to diagnose the issues by providing the metrics of the diagnostic logs and metrics for Azure services. And specifically, Azure Monitor, what it does is it captures events and errors generated by Azure resources, which will enable your organizational administrators to troubleshoot issues and monitor the health of your infrastructure as well. So overall, summarizing it, what Azure Monitor is specifically a versatile monitoring solution that will help your organization ensure the performance, availability, and security of their infrastructure. Yeah, so you could use these features as well without moving on to cloud, directly onto on-premises without any further without any further requirement once you onboard your servers onto Azure Arc. So next slide, please.
Perfect. So just to add up what Sridhar has said, right? So guys, how cool and flexible it is. You're not even migrating your servers or databases to cloud, but still you're able to leverage its services. So that's a brilliant service introduced by Microsoft,
Approach.
and I would request every one of you to leverage at least once. Yeah. So
Yeah,
Srirang, I'll take it up from here. No, not a problem.
yeah, sure.
So guys, in a nutshell, Azure Arc is a bridge between your on-premises, third-party cloud services, anything to Azure. You don't have to migrate any of your application database, but you just onboard your servers onto Azure Arc and leverage these services, the security services, the monitoring capabilities, the database capabilities with regards to operational excellence and everything, right? Just leverage those by not even migrating onto cloud, just by onboarding it, right? Now, where does Noventiq can play a picture for this, right? So we are running an implementation for offer for all of our customers. And if you guys are interested, you can definitely let us know. We can do some sort of an pilot POC, or we can have an overall TCO derived completely for your organization and can definitely work with you, right? Now, this is not limited to monitoring onto Azure. In case you have your Power BI licenses, we can create the monitoring dashboards onto Power BI so that you will be able to showcase to the CXOs of the world, right? Because recently we integrated Power BI with Azure Arc services, and trust me, it is helping our organization, the likes of manufacturing ITs organization, where we have already implemented these stuffs and integrated with the Power BI. It's quite helping the likes of CXOs in the world because they just need the dashboard to view no matter where the service is running. But yes, a single pane of glass can be integrated not only onto Azure, but also can get extended to the Power BI as well. So that's what I wanted to cover. And the rest, as I mentioned, that we are running an implementation offers for all of our customers. In this, we are going to, do the assessment of your environment, what all workloads you're running and what all workloads you wish to onboard to Azure Arc. We can get engaged at the time of assessment, and we'll give you an entire TCO, right? So it's not only about doing the assessment, but we are going to help you post that in terms of setting up the entire deployment, right from onboarding, right from agent installation, right from getting or running the scripts to install the agent, also creating customized policies so that you can enable extended security updates, soothing monitorings, and so a lot of things, right? So no matter where your workload is running, we are just a touch away from you. Just let us know if you're interested. We can definitely run this offer for you guys. Right. Just a summary. Azure Arc onboarded, single pane of glass, use leverage, security, defender, Azure Active Directory, security updates, ASU updates, monitoring capabilities, and so on. So on, guys, so on. How cool and flexible it is, right? And last but not least, this is how we are going to, leverage Azure Arc. As I said, we are running an offer. You can contact us. You can reach out to us for any implementation, or if you want to do a POC around it, or if you just want to do a TCO or an assessment based off scenario, not problem, guys. You just reach out to us. We will definitely help you. And of course, there would be a list of prerequisites where once we will get engaged into it, we will definitely share end-to-end prerequisites, project plans, and so on. Right. So we are just touch away. Do let us know. Do share your feedbacks. How can we help you in leveraging this power packed Azure Arc service? And that's it from our end. In case you have any queries, please feel free to ask. Also, you can scan this QR to provide your very full feedback. It will help us, help you to arrange such sessions, arrange the necessary speakers. And we would also like to hear from you what all topics you want to cover as part of the Tech Thursday webinar, because this is a series which we are running on every Thursday or every alternate Thursday. If you wish to cover any such topics of likes of cloud worlds or anything, please do let us know. For those who are still on the call, can scan the QR and provide your verified feedback. Please, it will help us and help you also to cover the remaining sections in the coming weeks as well. And yes, of course, in case of any queries, please feel free to ask on the chat or on the call itself. We still have 8 to 9 minutes left.
Yeah, Kapil, we have one question. So in the
Hmm.
chat box.
Okay.
So Ruturaj Sunar has asked one question. Can we add VM from Nutanix?
Shri, you want to answer this?
Yeah. So surely you want to add, we can add the VM from Nutanix. You just want, you have to use leverage the feature of Azure Arc down there. You have to install the agent down, yeah, Azure Arc agent, and then use the feature. But Nutanix would be treated as a Kubernetes based on that once it is generated. So Kapil, you can take it ahead if you want to answer it further.
So it could be supported. See, for containerized based solutions, definitely there is a support from Nutanix available. For Nutanix as a physical server you're asking, then yes, we can definitely explore that option as well.
Explore it up. Yeah. And
Okay.
on the chat,
There is a
someone
question.
asked,
Yeah.
yeah,
How Azure Arc is helpful in Power BI, right? So this is the question from Mr. Sandeep, right? Yes. So Mr. Sandeep, what we have been doing is Azure Arc is something, getting leveraged from Azure platform. That is Azure Management Portal itself. What we can do is once we enable the monitoring onto those servers of Azure Arc, on the servers onboarded via Azure Arc, right? We can enable the integration with the Power BI directly, because in Azure Monitor we do have an option. Once we get the logs from the Microsoft Azure Monitor platform, we can integrate those logs onto the Power BI, and we can create dashboards as and what needed for you. So that's how the integration works. The reason I said this Power BI part is because one of the requirements from the customer was is that they already use Power BI platform for monitoring of some of the solutions. So they don't want the integration to be done directly on the Azure. Of course, there was an integration on the Azure via Azure Arc itself, but they want to view certain metrics of likes of their compute monitoring, their storage monitoring, their network level monitoring. And that is the reason we have extended our arms in terms of Power BI capability and have generated the monitoring dashboards for them, and it's a real time. It just needs a refresh at the stage, so nothing to worry about. And yes, additionally, if I want to say, uh, in terms of monitoring, it also gives each and every single server network level detail. That means if I am running a virtual machine onto on premises, I onboarded via Azure Arc, what Azure Arc network level monitoring will give me an output as that this XYZ server is running hundreds of services, right? Now, these hundreds of services could be integrated with the other services over different IP, over different port. So it is kind of giving a network level connectivity mapping diagram, and it becomes very easy for you to view what all servers services are running and what all clients are connected to my server. So it's kind of a brilliant dashboard. I wish if I could show you, but it's with the customer's environment that for the compliance, but I'm not able to show you. Otherwise, if you wish to, get us engaged with in terms of monitoring capabilities, definitely we will help you with those aspects. Okay, great. Thanks, Sandeep. I hope this answers your query. Anyone?
Yeah, are there any other questions? So while Kapil was presenting, Kaushal had asked for, is Azure Arc supported for Mac OS? No, right now it is not supported, but it is under consideration. Microsoft is bringing it under consideration very soon, and further it would be entitled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions? See,
Yeah, I
people are
think
still on the call.
yes.
Yeah.
Maybe, I guess, the context made them very much clear. That's the reason we're not having more queries. Good to hear that, guys.
Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you, Kapil and Shriram. Thanks for the wonderful session today. And thank you all for joining. So we'll be sharing the next session of Tech Thursday webinar details shortly on email. Please do tune in. So don't forget to join us. Thank you all. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you so
thank you.
much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you
you.
guys. And please do let us to know if you want to engage with us on the same. So we'll help you out from in each and every standpoints.
My
Thank you.
manager. Hmm.
Sorry.
My manager.
Sorry.
Manager. Manager.
Someone is having a query. Ishtar, you have a query?
Nothing, Kapil.
I think it's okay.
Conclude.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks, team.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, guys.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you too
thank
much.
you guys.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.